Shlump.
Hello everybody, it's Shlump here, and today I've got CSGO on the Steam Deck for you. CSGO is a game made by Valve, the same company that makes Steam and the Steam Deck. We all know this. And what Valve has been doing with their games on the Steam Deck, the ones that they make, like Half-Life 2, Portal 2, Left 4 Dead 2, and CSGO, is they've been giving them specific updates so that they work exceptionally well on the Steam Deck. Because if Valve's own games don't work well on the Steam Deck, then that's not a good look for Steam Deck, right? You know, if Valve's own games don't work well on it, then what will? So they've been giving updates for these games to make sure that they can serve as shining examples of what the Steam Deck can do. And to do this, they've developed native Linux builds of most of these games that they make, CSGO being one of them, and Linux builds because Steam Deck runs on Arch Linux. So most games on Steam Deck that you'll play, they're going to run through Proton, the compatibility layer that's kind of designed mostly with the Steam Deck in mind. It works for other Linux machines as well, but a lot of it does have to do with the Steam Deck. But since these are Linux, you should be getting even better performance out of these than if you're running them under a Proton compatibility layer. So you would think that the experience with CSGO here on the Steam Deck would be really good, since, you know, they want to make it look as good as possible for a Steam Deck. But I've tested it, and it doesn't really seem to be working correctly as it should. Like, messing around the video settings, you get a lot of weird results. I've been testing this game for weeks now, and no matter what graphics configuration I use, I still get random hitches, lurches, stutters during gameplay. I can't figure out what's causing them, but they're there. And also sometimes when I open the game, I get a consistent, persistent frame time stuttering on the graph that you're seeing in the top left right there. It'll just be happening the entire game, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it makes no sense at all why this is happening. And all of this is assuming that you can even get the game to open in the first place. Because when I first went to go play CSGO, it worked fine. And then I deleted it, and then a week later I reinstalled it, and after it finished downloading, I clicked play, and it says, fatal error, make sure that your Steam client is fully up to date. And so I did, and it was fully up to date. And I go to run CSGO again, and it still gives me that exact same error message. And I tried to open it like 15 times, and it kept giving me that. And I looked up on the internet all these possible solutions to it that the CSGO community has provided, because they've been having the same problem for years now. And no one can seem to figure out what the exact pinpoint solution for it is specifically. Everybody just has their own ideas. And none of them was working for me. But eventually, a few days later, I clicked open on it once, and for some reason, it decided to open then. And after that, I haven't had that problem again. So that was super weird. Since I've been getting weird performance results with this game, or even at the lowest settings, it still has hitches, I tried changing the Proton compatibility layer because sometimes that can help. But I think since it's because it's a Linux game, you can't change the Proton layer, otherwise it gets really grumpy, doesn't really work properly. I tried the same thing with Left 4 Dead 2, and it also put up a big fuss, just like CSGO will. So you can't change the Proton compatibility layer to see if you can get any better performance results. You're just stuck on the default one. I should note that in all my testing with CSGO on the Steam Deck, I've been playing against bots and not real players, because playing against bots in video games is more demanding on the hardware compared to playing against real players, because in a game like CSGO, you're hosting a server locally on your own hardware, and then your CPU is the thing that's processing all the bots. Whereas if you're playing online multiplayer, the server is being hosted somewhere else, so not on your hardware is just receiving it. And so there's no bots as well. So it's much easier to run multiplayer than it is to run bots. But I played CSGO on a computer a few years ago that had like super low RAM. The CPU is ancient, and the GPU was, I think it was a GT 720, which is also ancient, even a few years ago. And that thing was able to run bots with 60 FPS on low graphics. And the Steam Deck is significantly more powerful than that computer, so it should be able to handle bots 60 FPS no problems. So I don't see why it's hitching. There's really no need for it to be doing that, but it still is. When I was trying to figure out how to make the game run better on the Steam Deck, I started looking at different launch options you can set for the game in Steam, and there's a whole bunch of them, and I tried all the performance ones I could find, but they didn't really seem to have any significant effect at all. Though there is one launch command that I recommend you do use, because when you open CSGO, sometimes your mouse will start to slightly move up ever so smallly but it does it like pretty much like pixel by pixel, but it is moving up slowly. And so the way you stop that is I'll put the command up on the screen right now. You just put that in the launch command settings of the game in Steam, and that'll fix it. Another annoying quirk with this game on the Steam Deck is that the FXA anti-aliasing option and the motion blur option, both of them flat out do not work. You cannot use them because once you turn them on and apply them, they don't actually turn on. So when you then go back into the graphics settings, it says they're disabled. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get them to actually stay on. So in the high graphics footage, I don't have any form of anti-aliasing enabled whatsoever because the game gives you two options, MSA and FXA, but MSA in video games just in general, and same thing with CSGO, is a big performance hit. So it's not really worth it in my opinion because I tested here and it causes big drops. So I wouldn't recommend using that, and that's why I wanted to use FXA because that's typically a lot faster, but it doesn't work here as well. So you can either use MSA for big performance hit or just have no anti-aliasing on at all. And you won't be able to use motion blur either. That's probably fine for this game because I don't think you want motion blur in it anyway, especially if you try and be competitive. To sum it all up, CSGO on Steam Deck is a disappointing turnout. It's plagued with all sorts of annoying issues like the hitching and stuttering during gameplay, the mouse problem that requires a launch command to fix, the game not opening half the time when you want it to. And so hopefully Valve can do more to work on in the future to improve the experience for everybody using the Steam Deck. If you yourself have a Steam Deck, then why not download CSGO on there and try it out for yourself, because you may have a better experience on it than I did, especially if you're going to be playing multiplayer. So if you're going to be doing that, let me know how it goes in the comment section down below. And on your way down there, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more Steam Deck videos. I've noticed that most people watching my videos are not subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next Steam Deck video.